So, who else was not prepared for the emotional roller coaster that was this premiere? Because I certainly wasn't. You guys should have warned me. You know I get overly emotional. But with that said, hello everybody. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. Hi, how's it going? My name's JoJo. I talk about seasonal anime here on the channel. And today we're going to be talking about episode 1 of To Your Eternity, called The Last One. But before we get to the video proper, quick reminder if you haven't done so yet, to hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. Without further ado though, we're going to go ahead and jump right into this. And yeah, you all straight up didn't tell me anything. Y'all told me nothing. When we were going over the shows that I was going to watch this season, the most people told me was like, oh, heads up, it's a Yoshitoki Oima series. They did a silent voice. And I was like, oh, okay. I've never seen a silent voice. And people are like, oh, well, first of all, you should probably fix that. But second of all, like, oh. And I was like, oh, that's a weird reaction. Okay. Now I understand. Are they known for breaking hearts? Because my heart is broken. Like, that was an emotional roller coaster I was not quite prepared for. I don't even really know where to start, honestly. I am the type of dude who gets very emotional when it comes to shows. I don't get emotional over other things, like things that might make other people emotional. I'm sort of like stone face. I almost wonder if I have like vaguely some sort of like emotional issues where like I can't, like when real life stuff happens to me, I'm like, that sucks. But I'm not like heartbroken. I'm just kind of like, wow, that's rough. I kind of internalize. But if it's like animated, or if it's a video game, or if it's just a movie or a story in general, for some reason, like a character could be like, I'm sad. I'm like, I'm sad too. Like, you know, I just like break out. I'm like, oh no, don't be sad, right? Like, I'm like, why do I care more about them than my own emotions? So that's sort of the type of dude I am. I get way too attached to fictional stories. Although I'm not one of those people who would then freak out and attack, you know, like voice actors or mangaka or stuff like that. I can separate fiction from reality. I just get very invested and emotionally attached to fiction. So with that said, you can imagine my shock horror when I got into To Your Eternity's first episode. The general mood of this show is something else, man. Like I don't like the opening just is very haunting, right? Now, I recognize the voice immediately. If you guys don't know, at the start of every season, I research the shows that I'm talking about. And so I did research on To Your Eternity, so I know who the staff is, I know who the voice actors are, and I know the names of the characters they're playing. So I know Suda's name. I won't say it, just in case anybody doesn't want me to say who he is. But I do know, like, his name. And the fact that it opens with Kenjiro Suda, who me and my boy Sunwoo all just agree, like, we both just agree, and we've talked about this on the channel, and you guys seem to agree. Suda makes any show he's in better. I'm not even kidding. Like, any show with Suda in it is genuinely a better series because of his inclusion. So having Suda be this like having Suda be this pseudo narrator is genius, right? Because I think his voice really works as a narrator type of voice. And if you don't know who Kenjiro Suda is, by the way, he is Hannes from Attack on Titan, Nino from Aka 13, Sakaido from It Invaded. He was Overhaul in My Hero, Nick from Gangsta, Nanami from Jujutsu Kaisen just recently, and my personal favorite Suda role, Captain Mikoshiba from Free. Suda has been like literally everywhere. Again, like that's just a few roles. That's just the roles I could fit on the page that I had for him. Like there's way more that he's done that you might know him from. Suda's voice is brilliant. Like I believe he was also Leorio, is that his name, from Tower of God. He voices a lot of characters. He's in a lot of shows. And again, his narration over this episode, because it's Suda and he speaks in like this like, and then the boy, like the boy like died and then the wolf took over, you know, like, and I spoke like this and I made the audience moist. Hopefully not moist, but like, yeah, he genuinely makes he just makes the dialogue hit hard. Like that's just the man's voice. He has an incredible inflection to his tone that you just don't get with a lot of other seiyuu. Like, it's very, like, Suda's one of those voice actors where, like, you hear them, you know immediately who it is. Like, Miyano or Koyasu, like, there's certain voice actors you hear and you're just like, I know who that is, like, just immediately. Suda is one of them. And yeah, just the mood he gives the show, the narration that he gives, it sets up this very, like, introspective, slow, but, like, on purpose type of mood and atmosphere. And, like, the fact that he says that he let this orb into the world to experience things, and that orb, as we know, later becomes Joan, the wolf, and then later becomes the boy, whose name I also know, but again, I will not say. That is a lot. The themes at play, like, that I assume are going to factor in, and again, I don't read manga. A lot of you guys know that, but if you don't, hi, I'm JoJo Talks Too Much. I don't know, and I never learned how to friggin' read. But I mean, I do, but, like, I just don't like reading manga. It's not my thing. I don't really like reading light novels. It's not my thing. I just don't enjoy that hobby. You know, I don't really like reading in general. It's not my thing. I'm not, like, very, like, even in school, like, my teachers were like, he doesn't learn through reading, he learns through, like, watching, which has stuck with me ever since. And so I'm more of a visual guy. So when it comes to Your Eternity, I don't know necessarily where we're going. I know the names of characters because of my research, but I don't know, like, what's going to happen or where we're going. What I can guess based off this episode is that there's going to be a lot of themes of, like, life, loss, moving forward, carrying on in spite of great loss, and that is going to hurt me. I actually got similar vibes to, of all things, I can't really explain why, but it just gave me a similar mood, and it's Vinland Saga? Like, it gave me Vinland Saga vibes, and I don't know if that's down to the designs or something. The character designs in this series, adapting Oima's manga, are by Koji Yabuno, who did Space Brothers. Now, I've never seen Space Brothers, but I know my boy Memory NK swears by Space Brothers. But I was legitimately like, maybe somebody who worked on Vinland was a part of this? I don't know. But seemingly not, judging by what I know of the staff. There's, like, certain gaps, like, I couldn't figure out who was doing art design or color design. Although I should be able to just read the credits now, although I can't read kanji or hiragana, so that's going to become a problem. But I don't know if anybody in the staff from, like, the gaps might have worked on Vinland Saga, but, like, in my notes, the ones that I do have down, nobody's worked on Vinland Saga. I don't know why it gave me that mood, but I think it's just the general vibe. Like, the whole show feels like Torches, you know, like the song Torches from Vinland Saga. That's, like, the mood it gives me. Although, it has its own ED by friggin' Utada Hikaru. Utada Hikaru is doing the ED for the show, or not the ED, the OP for the show. Holy crap. Pink Blood by Utada Hikaru. What a mood. What a perfect fit for this show. Because I'm just going to be real with you. The instant I hear, like, I was sitting there watching and I forgot that people had told me, like, dude, please watch this. A, it's a really good series. B, your girl's doing the OP. And I was like, huh? And I was watching this going, like, I know that voice anywhere. If you don't know, Kingdom Hearts is, like, one of my favorite gaming franchises. In fact, my favorite video game of all time. And I listed my top 300. But my favorite game of all time is Kingdom Hearts 2. And so I know Utada's voice anywhere. So the instant I heard that, I was like, bro, what? That's gonna just make me even more emotional. I don't know if I don't know if I'm prepared for this show. I don't think I am ready. And I'm nervous that I'm not, because I don't really want to be caught unawares. Like, the story of the boy who doesn't even get a name. Like, it's a lot. It's tragic in so many ways, and I really thought that we were going to have this character actually, like, find a way to the mountains. Like, I thought that he was going to be able to figure something out. He friggin' dies! Like, spoilers, by the way. But like, yeah, he friggin' dies. Like, I was shocked. I didn't know what to even think because, again, based off my knowledge of the show, they set it up like he was going to travel around with Joan, and they were gonna like just have adventures, you know, like one and done adventures or something. I thought it was gonna be sort of like Kino's journey, but like in like the Arctic. You know, I wasn't expecting this. And I don't even know how to react, honestly, because it was just so shocking. And that line of like, I need you to do me a favor, Joan, just remember me forever, okay? And then he tries his best to sit down and be in the chair so that if anybody did come see him, he wouldn't look as he thought pathetic. He would be sitting in his chair and he would have passed in his chair waiting for his family to come home. Holy crap. Like, that is so sad. And you get to know this kid. Like, I cared about him by the end. I was like, no. Like, I was genuinely really upset. Like, how dare you, Oima? How dare you? How dare you? That hurt my soul. Like, that was heartbreaking. And seeing Joan, like, become the boy, and instead of just leaving, you see that they had a bond because Joan, like, puts the boy in the chair, like, after the boy falls, puts him back in the chair, and, like, sits him upright, and the boy is smiling even though he's gone. Because that kid, we'll get into, like, some design time in a second, but, like, you can tell he was just a dependable, well-meaning guy, and now he's gone. And I was shocked because I thought it was going to be this show about these two traveling together. Turns out, no, I don't even know what the show's about at this point. And honestly, I might have been annoyed because I was kind of up for that. But now I'm just like, where are we going? You know what I mean? Like, what is this? I'm way more intrigued than anything. I'm not even annoyed at this point because I'm so intrigued by where they're possibly going to go. And if any of the stories hit even half as hard as that, like, cause like this first story was like hard hitting. And if we get like a sort of Kino's journey in the Arctic, but with just Joan now, like, I'm still kind of down for that. If any of them, like I said, hit even half as hard as this one did, cause this one hit hard, and I was absolutely shocked. And I do think that he's gonna keep that promise, and he's gonna remember the boy. You know, like, I think that's a thing. However, if you're new here, we like to do this thing on the channel where we sort of analyze character designs. We sort of take a look at the character, try to figure out what the creator was trying to tell us about the character. We like symbolism here. I like digging into symbolism, what it means for the character, and what it means, what they're trying to imply through the character's design. Because character designs, they actually do tell you quite a bit about the character. As an example, let's look at the boy, who's pretty much the only design that I'm going to be able to talk about, really. But the boy, as we know him, has white hair, right? He has a brown and beige sort of fur coat and clothes, and he has pink eyes, right? Pink eyes makes it sound like he has, like, actual pink eye, but I mean, his irises are pink. That is the color of his eyes. Now, the white hair, white in this case, it can mean one of two things, or both. One is cold. It could mean that he is an Arctic boy, you know, like white, Snow White. However, I don't really think it's that simple, and I'm going to give Oima a lot more credit than that because I don't think it's that easy. I think the white hair is just to show what a pure-hearted boy this dude was. Like, he was genuinely pure of heart. He believed his family was coming back. He believed they could make it to the mountain. He believed he was going to be fine. And it wasn't out of a place of arrogance. It was because he just kept a smile on his face, and he was a genuinely sweet kid, and he's gone. And also, now that I think about it, Joan's also gone, because Joan... Oh my god, that's even sadder now that I think about it, because the boy thought that Joan was actually Joan, but Joan died, and the orb became Joan. So that wasn't even his wolf friend that whole time. They both died. Everyone in that village died then. Oh my god, that's so sad. But anyway, back to the design time. The white hair definitely is purity or innocence. That's definitely, because white as a color is, it denotes purity, innocence. Since we see white associated a lot with, oftentimes with the light, angels, stuff like that. So that's sort of where the color, the amalgamation of colors that we get to make white is typically denoting. Like that color typically in the human psyche, you associate the color, the amalgam of colors, white, to mean sort of this pure essence, right? Like the White Lanterns from DC, for example. Can you tell that I'm a Green Lantern fan? But I do think that that's definitely a element to the characters is their purity. As for the brown and beige clothes, like the fur coat and the clothes and everything, I would say that it's definitely sort of hinting that the character is dependable. Brown as a shade, when you see brown, typically the psyche tells you brown is dependable. It's also a bit boring, right? Brown, I get there's a reason why whenever people talk, say as an example, right? And I like this show, don't get me wrong, but the color palette for say Titan is a lot of gray and brown, and it's boring, right? A lot of the color designs, the color, anytime a show tries to be gritty, it's usually gray and dark shades of colors and dark greens and browns, and it's brown is typically a boring color. However, the positive element of brown is that it's dependable, right? Brown is a very dependable color. You rely on brown. You can trust brown to have your back. Brown knows what it's doing, right? So when you see brown and beige is the same thing. Beige is exactly the same thing. It's just dependable, right? Beige does have a calming effect. It's why a lot of rooms tend to be beige, right? Because when you go to an open house, they usually will show you beige, because it has a calming effect if slightly boring, right? So the fact that it's brown and beige gives you this sort of you feel like you can trust the boy, right? You know that the boy is self-sustaining, the boy can handle themselves. Right? You understand that. You get the idea that they are a self-sustaining individual, that they will be able to take care of themselves until they go off on this quest. But that brown and beige shows that they are a survivalist. They can handle themselves in this element. And then the pink color of the eyes, I assume this to mean a sort of naivete. Pink is often associated with naivety, or maybe even immaturity at its worst, because pink is definitely, I love the color pink. It's one of my favorite colors. I own a lot of pink sweaters, but I think when it comes to pink in designs, it's one of two things. It's either a nurturing color, which does make sense given what we know about the boy, right? Pink does make sense. It's a they have a nurturing soul. If the eyes are the window into the soul, the irises of a character could tell you quite a bit. And with the boy, that makes a lot of sense. Nurturing, caring, right? That comes from the color pink, a nurturing, caring soul, but also a little bit immature, a little bit naive. He really thought he was going to make that trip. And in fairness, so did I. But yeah, the one thing I think that I want to hammer home is, the color choice on the iris I think is really smart. However, the other big thing is that doesn't stay when Joan takes over, right? When Joan adopts the boy's visuals, right? When Johan becomes the boy's eyes were pink, but we see Johan change the pink iris to the yellow one that it had before. So I think that's not so much meant to say anything about Joan specifically. Yellow as a color is definitely it's a piercing color. So it could be that maybe Joan is trying to establish that you know, like they have a sort of piercing gaze, or like they're very insightful. They can but at the same time, I don't know if that's quite right, because we don't really know much about the orb, right? Like we don't know much about Joan, whether or not they can like understand much of what's going on. So I think the yellow might be less insightful and more sort of like piercing, like trying to understand, trying to grasp why it was sent here, what this world is like. Maybe that's why we see it change back to yellow, to try to understand death, you know, and like what that means, like the death of something you care about, because they clearly cared about the boy. But I think it's mainly just to indicate that this is not the same boy, that like the eyes changing is to show that it is Joan who took over, that it is still the same being. It's not just the boy. It's not like becoming the boy. Because I think some people may have been confused, because we do see the boy in the chair, and then we see like the boy have a dream about like, oh, everybody, you're home, let's go meet these other people. Oh, the other people, hey, have you guys ever heard of fruit? Like that. We see them in the afterlife, and we even see their like I'm going to hope that wasn't just a fever dream. I'm going to pretend like, no, that was actually heaven, and the boy got to go to heaven, and he got to meet with the real Joan again. And he got to meet with his family again. He got to meet all the people in that other village. That's what I'm going to tell myself so I could not cry myself to sleep. But I think the reason why they changed the eye was more practical in this case than like trying to be symbolic. I don't think that maybe they might, the yellow eyes might be trying to tell us something. But I think it's mostly practical. Although I am definitely willing to hear what you guys think the yellow in the yellow irises are meant to indicate about the orb. Do let me know in those comments. But with that said, everybody, that is going to wrap up today's video here. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to boop that up snooch, share if you care, leave a comment down below, and of course, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, set notifications to all, and let all of AniTube know that you're here. And before we go, as always, I want to give a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Look at these beautiful people. Look at all these beautiful names, and hey, if you would like to join these beautiful people, there are 2 ways to do so. The first is by hitting that join button right beside the sub button. It gets you a badge next to your name, some emotes to spam in the comments, and of course your name scrolling past the screen here. Or for just a single $1, you can hit that Patreon link in the description. Either way, it is super appreciated. So once again, a big thank you to the good folks in the T Squadron. Again, y'all did not tell me this was going to like be an emotional roller coaster. Y'all just said like, oh, get ready. And I'm like, okay, but how ready should I be? Like, is it going to be that bad? It was that bad. My heart is broken. And now I'm going to go watch Fruits Basket so my heart could be shattered more. This could be like my next few weeks. My heart is not prepared. Anyway, bye!